Going all out against the giant dragon, our MC comes in hot, tearing through the sky. He whips out some sealing scrolls, and magic starts glowing brightly in his hands. Just like that, a brutal bolt of lightning strikes the beast dead on, lighting up the whole screen. The spear pierces straight through the creature's body, sending blood flying everywhere. Looking completely unhinged and drenched in blood, our boy can hardly believe what he just pulled off. After the bloodbath, the crew even starts to wonder if this kid is even human. Flashing back, we find out the beast lived for 999 years as a spiritual being, and it was just 1 year shy of becoming a true dragon. Filled with rage, the creature realizes they brought a talisman specifically designed to take down divine beasts. With a soul-shaking roar, the monster wonders where all this hatred came from for them to do this to it. With zero respect, our little MC calls the beast a fool, laughing right in its face. Defeated on the ground, the creature questions the reason for the fight, and our boy coldly replies that he doesn't need any of it. With his back turned and all banged up, the kid says he was just paying back a debt to his benefactor. Almost at his limit, he looks up at the sky, asking if that was enough. Furious all over again, the beast snorts smoke, demanding to know what cursed name he's talking about. Suddenly, a colossal explosion engulfs everything, swallowing the scene in flames. Almost wiped from existence, our boy wonders if his fate was to just fizzle out in such a lame way. But a sudden heartbeat makes his eyes fly open as he realizes he's still breathing. Inside a sinister spiritual form, he notices all his mana is gone, but his body still feels incredibly strong. Completely outraged, he screams into the void, asking if they thought he'd just give up because they sealed his magic. Unleashing a monstrous red aura, the kid swears he's going to settle the score right then and there. But then the dust settles, revealing nothing but some weird shards scattered on the ground. With no strength to even get up, he realizes he can barely even crawl through the shadows. Everywhere he looks, the view is surreal, with mountains of gold glittering in a massive hall. Right in the center of the room, it's obvious this bizarre place is jam-packed with rare and extraordinary items. Curious about the insane level of bling, he wonders what kind of crazy person would own so much treasure. Coming face to face with a stone tombstone among the coins, he notices some engravings on it. Reading the sad message, he discovers it's a dedication to a child who never got to see the light of day. In that instant, it hits him like a ton of bricks. This entire place is a baby's tomb. Suddenly, a giant red eye snaps open in shock, wondering if that mountain of treasure was the kid's cradle. Thinking he should pray for the deceased, he raises his little hand to offer a polite prayer. With a little squeeze of his own flesh, he feels a soft, squishy texture that makes no sense at all. Staring at his own reflection, he's in absolute shock to see he's turned into a fluffy little creature, complaining about his own adorable face. Waving his tiny little arms, he starts to panic because his paw's reach is just ridiculous. Poking his pudgy belly, his indignation only grows as he realizes he's way too chubby for a warrior. Sitting on the floor with a dumbfounded look, he tries to process why his body has turned into this harmless fluffball. Next to the coins, the humiliation is real as he realizes he's smaller than a mouse compared to the money. In a total panic, the little creature screams internally, denying with every fiber of his being that this pathetic thing is him. Defeated amidst the gold, he finally accepts that he's been hit by the classic reincarnation trope. Completely confused by the whole situation, he scratches his fuzzy head, trying to make sense of it all. Putting the waterworks aside, our new mascot decides to explore the place to see if he can find anything useful. Rummaging through the scattered items, he finds spiritual swords and sealed magic. Judging the tome owner's taste, face to face with a bizarre shield, he discovers a super glitchy petrification curse for anyone who looks directly at it. In a corner of the room, he spots another classic curse on an apple that causes eternal hunger. Noticing a blue flask near a chest, he reads about a useless potion that trades your voice for legs. Harumphing at all the junk, our little MC figures they gathered all this weird energy to seal something dangerous. Suddenly, his attention is stolen by a small red stone glowing among the jewels. Looking up, he tries to figure out if the thing rolled down from the top of the gold mountain. Speechless, the little guy's eyes go wide as he spots a colossal chest bursting with treasures. Drooling at the sight, the full view reveals a gigantic slope made of pure, unadulterated wealth. Overjoyed, he hops with glee, celebrating his big win while holding the stone. Scurrying madly over the coins, he realizes it's not just any gem, but a magical artifact. With the dark crystal in his hands, the connection is instant as he feels the same energy from his past life. Laser focused on the prize, he decides right then and there that this powerful item has to be his. Trying to yank the gem from its holder, the little critter struggles like crazy because the setting is in the way. Trembling from the effort, he puts all his weight into his paw, confident that the thing is about to pop loose. With a violent tug, the sound of screeching metal echoes through the golden hall. Thrown onto his back in the gold after failing, he's hit with a wave of frustration, seeing the stone didn't budge an inch. Growling with rage, he goes back on the attack, pulling the gem with pure hatred, thinking it's just about to give. But then his paw slips badly, and our boy loses his balance, flying backward without a clue what's happening. Tumbling down the mountain of gold while hugging the crystal, he swears to himself he's not letting go of this loot, no matter what. Like a little furball, he rolls down the slope, groaning with every harsh bump against the coins. Rubbing the lump on his head, the little chonk laments that in his old life, a fall like this wouldn't have even tickled. At least the dark gem remained intact and safe in his hands after the fall. Immediately, a sinister tremor starts shaking the entire hall, making the coins jump on their own. With goosebumps from head to toe, the pressure in the air becomes so heavy that our MC freezes on the spot. Appearing out of nowhere, a blue energy tears through the space, confirming that some ridiculously powerful entity is on its way. Facing this threat, the kid admits that even at his peak, he wouldn't be sure of a victory. But his pride speaks louder, and he decides not to back down. After all, he's still a divine black dragon. In the middle of the hall, a massive, swirling portal stabilizes, completely stealing the show. A colossal, glowing claw steps firmly onto the coins, showing everyone who's really in charge. Slowly, a gigantic blue eye opens, scanning the room with a silent fury. Majestic and terrifying, a colossal golden dragon raises its head, ready to strike. Playing it cool, our tiny little MC asks if the big lizard thinks it can intimidate him with just its aura. With a smirk, the little creature growls confidently, making it clear he won't back down one bit. With fire in his eyes, our MC lets out a roar of his own to show who's boss. But the light fades to reveal a giant fox spirit staring down the little guy. Just then, a cute sneeze escapes the little fluffball, completely breaking the tense atmosphere. Full of pity, the golden creature realizes it's just a newborn cub. Completely disarmed, the beast assumes the little one is scared to bits. Shaking with indignation, our boy is shocked by the creature's audacity. Suddenly, the giant fox transforms into a gorgeous blonde woman. As she picks up the furball, she asks if this human form is more calming. Right after, she introduces herself as Christina, while the kid tries to process what's happening. Amidst the gold, she notices that the little mascot hasn't eaten anything yet. In his head, our MC finds this ridiculous, since in his past life, he could go months without eating. But his stomach rumbles loudly, giving him away and making the woman crack a little smile. Startled by his own body, the little guy can't understand how he's been nerfed so badly. Once again, his stomach screams, proving that his animal instincts are overpowering his reason. Wasting no time, the blonde goddess starts preparing a creation spell in her hands. Curious about the glow, our little MC tries to figure out what the woman is cooking up now. Magically, a perfect little baby bottle appears, ready to satisfy the cub's hunger. As soon as the bottle is opened, a sweet smell starts wafting through the treasure hall. Through his snout, the little guy takes a whiff and feels the aroma invade his mind. Drooling like a maniac, he realizes it's pure milk, and desperation kicks in. With all the patience in the world, Christina offers him the tasty snack. Pretending to put it away, she teases him, asking if he doesn't want it anymore. Slowly, the bottle moves away, leaving the starving furball in shock. In a total panic, the little chunk's eyes go wide, not believing her nerve. In a desperate leap, our boy grabs the bottle, screaming in mascot language. Laughing, the blonde woman comments on how the little baby was starving. Latched onto the bottle's nipple, the MC tries to maintain his pride, thinking it's just regular milk. But the flavor explodes in his mouth, revealing it's the most delicious thing in the universe. Absolutely melting with affection, the guardian asks if it's yummy while he chugs it down without stopping. With a caring gaze, she gets his attention to make a special invitation. With her hand outstretched, the blonde goddess calls for the little guy to leave with her. Straight up, she guarantees that the world outside has much tastier things. Because of the language barrier, our MC just pieces together the message from the context. After scanning the area, he notices there's nothing else useful besides money. Calculating the risks, the kid concludes that trying to survive alone in this pathetic body is a one-way ticket to oblivion. Clutching his dark gem, he swears to himself that his decision has nothing to do with the milk. With short, determined steps, the furball walks towards his new babysitter. Hugging the mascot warmly, Christina gives him an official welcome. With her face pressed against the little chunk, she thanks him from the bottom of her heart for being born and surviving. Surprised by so much affection, the boy finds it weird that someone is thanking him just for existing. Even though he finds the whole situation super cheesy, the kid has to admit the hug is pretty warm. Thanks to the tombstone, our little MC deduces that the original soul of this body already checked out. Noticing the purple stone, the blonde woman asks if it's a gift or if he wants to keep it safe. Right up in his cheeks. The goddess says she doesn't want to see her little charge looking sad in the corners. Totally flustered by the over-the-top affection, he wonders how this woman can be so darn sweet. With their backs to the mountain of gold, the duo finally leaves the gloomy tome. Cuddled up on her shoulder, our hero decides to be eternally grateful for this second chance. For one last time, the scene focuses on the lonely tombstone amid the abandoned riches. With a look of pure hatred, the kid swears he will never, ever pass on in such a pathetic way again. Vowing to use any resource available, the boy's ambition truly ignites. After a time skip, we see the lazy furball snoring away on a bed lined with jewels. As soon as his eyes open, morning grogginess takes over his fuzzy little body. After a nice, big stretch, the little guy stretches all the way out to shake off the sleepiness. Ready to focus on his training, he admits he's already gotten used to this harmless form. With his breathing in check, the kid gets serious to start cultivating mana. It's clear that his new body draws in energy with zero effort. Just by remembering Christina's magic, our MC realizes the spells in this world are totally overpowered. In full focus, he channels the power to his inner core, which is in desperate need of a boost. Outside, the majestic palace shows that his training ground is a true mana paradise. Full of himself, the little chunk celebrates the fact that his new body is 100% pure and ready to evolve. But since good things never last, there's one single thing that still gets on our boy's nerves. Behind his ear, an annoying little light fairy won't stop flapping its wings and making noise. Facing the shiny creature, the kid calls the thing a bizarre little spy. With a few pokes to its forehead, the MC tries to figure out if this pest ever sleeps. It's all thanks to his overprotective babysitter, who left this lookout to watch over the baby. Because of the fairy's watchful eye, his intense training had to be called off completely. Every time the little guy tries to sneak away, the tattletale runs to snitch on him to the blonde goddess. Last time, Christina showed up, pulling his ear and warning him that it's dangerous outside. As a consolation prize, the mascot notices his internal mana is growing at an insane rate. With a full tank, our MC decides it's time to test a real skill. Soon, pink energy fills the room as he focuses on spatial teleportation. Magical lightning envelopes his fluffy body, showing that the spell is about to activate. Focused on the mission, the boy's gaze shines with absolute determination. In the blink of an eye, the magic explodes in the room, looking like it all went off without a hitch. Except the teleportation fails miserably, and he thinks it'd be way easier if he could just beat the stuffing out of the spy. Totally ticked off, he swears he'll find a countermeasure for the glowing snitch real soon. But right after, his little body acts up, and he can't pronounce the spell correctly. Whimpering on the floor, our MC realizes that trying to use advanced spells at this size is a real pain. And to make things worse, the fairy starts nuzzling him, head over heels in love, while he's dying of embarrassment. Suddenly, an overwhelming presence of mana completely grabs his attention. Descending from the sky with a divine aura, Christina makes her grand entrance. Leaping with joy, the little chonk runs towards her because it's show time. Super affectionately, the babysitter makes a fuss over him, calling him a good boy and serving up lunch. But she asks if he's over the milk and if he wants some meat now. In his head, the hungry furball vigorously agrees, praising the goddess's intelligence. With a smug grin, our kid thinks he's the smartest divine beast in the universe. But it looks like his manipulation tactics are working like a charm. Ignoring his wishes, the blonde woman picks him up, thinking he just wants cuddles. Accepting his fate, the freeloader decides to behave to secure his meal later. Enjoying the snuggles, Christina squeezes the little chonk, complimenting how cute he is. While he drinks his bottle, the goddess admits she's lost all track of time. Finally, with the snack in his mouth, our MC focuses on what really matters. Savoring the divine milk, he concludes that all the theatrics were totally worth it. Drinking with gusto, the boy's eyes sparkle every time he tastes it. At times like these, Christina always takes the opportunity to sit beside him and chat. He confesses that listening to other people's stories was never really his thing in the past. Even without understanding the language, the little guy can tell that his presence calms his babysitter. Noticing the relaxed look on her face, he sees how much lighter she seems around him. Thanks to spending so much time together, our little MC realizes he's already picking up a bunch of words in the local language. With a sweet smile, the goddess prepares to say something important. After finishing his meal, he confirms he's full and satisfied. Striking up a conversation, Christina clasps her hands together, asking for a small favor with puppy dog eyes. Proud of himself, he grumbles about how humiliating it is to act cute for milk. But without a second thought, an angelic little face instinctively appears on him. Internally, the little trickster justifies it as just being polite and returning her kindness. Charmed by his cuteness, the blonde woman can't resist and gives the little chonk another squeeze. Almost breathless, the kid complains in his head that he's being crushed by his benefactor. Stroking his head, the goddess wishes for him to live a long and happy life. Faced with such sincere words, our hero's heart can't help but soften. Admiring his babysitter's beauty and kindness, he recognizes that she's an incredible person. Memories of the past show that he was never on the receiving end of affection. Back in the timeline, a female figure asks him if he enjoys training so much. Complaining, she says he's always cooped up in there, driven only by a blind desire to ascend. Without answering, the kid from the past just listens as she asks if he's happy. Patting his head, the girl calls him a dummy for being so focused. Tired of the jokes, he retorts, asking what she means by that. Straight-faced, the girl asks him once more if he's ever felt true happiness. Recalling her memories, she states that he's never known the feeling of being adored. With a cold speech, he declares there's no room for trivialities in the life of a future dragon. Retorting, the girl points out that she's also about to become a celestial fox, and she's not bitter. In a serious tone, she surprises him by revealing her plan to become human. Shocked, all the guy can think is that her idea is completely insane. With her cheeks blushing, she confesses that she's found someone special to love. Walking barefoot, she explains that when you love someone that much, it's natural to want to give back. Turning her back, the girl hopes for the day he'll finally understand that feeling. Scoffing, the guy laughs, claiming that kind of nonsense will never happen to him. Sadly, she warns that if she becomes human, she won't be able to visit him in that place anymore. Even so, the guy swallows his pride and wishes his old friend a good life. With teary eyes, the girl asks why he's making such a gloomy face. Mumbling something inaudible, the guy tries to dodge the emotional moment. Livid, the girl yells that she hates everything about him, calling him a fool. After her outburst, she runs off crying while the guy is left looking completely stunned. In a flash of light, his friend's face glows before the memory fades completely. Walking through the palace in the present, the little creature admits he still doesn't get it all. Suddenly, Christina arrives, asking if the baby was waiting for her all alone. Running to meet her, the little chonk decides to show her what he's learned about returning affection. Standing on his two hind paws, the kid takes his very first steps, looking super proud. Full of hope, our MC thinks that showing off his growth will get his babysitter to call off the glowing snitch. However, her reaction is to just start crying out of nowhere, leaving him in total shock. In a flash, the blonde goddess smothers the little guy in a massive bear hug. Suffocating in all the love, he wonders what in the world he did to deserve this punishment. Letting the mascot go, Christina suddenly remembers she has a present for him. Curious, the little foodie immediately thinks the gift is food and gets his hopes up, explaining it's something chewable for someone who doesn't have teeth yet. The babysitter rummages in her bag. In the goddess's hands, a mysterious item appears, which she presents as something special. Shining brightly, the object is revealed to be the egg of an immortal bird of death and rebirth. Describing the legend, Christina explains the magical properties of the relic. Observing the silhouette of a fire phoenix, the kid deduces the creature seems dangerous. Sitting on the egg, the little chonk questions the logic of immortal creatures being born from eggs. Ignoring the laws of nature, the mascot wiggles on top of the shell, happy as can be. With his paw in the bag, the little chonk pulls the egg out. Tapping on the shell a few times, our MC tries to crack open his meal. Using a bit more force, his sharp claw finally cracks the thing open. Devouring the contents with relish, the little foodie licks his lips, while his babysitter dies of cuteness. Faced with the golden yolk, our boy celebrates the feast. Without a second thought, our little MC takes a giant bite. Hugging his food, he chews down the divine delicacy in an instant. Super happy, Christina explains that the food was cooked in pure red dragon fire. Savoring every drop, the kid notices a spark of magic mixed in with the flavor. Soon, the blonde goddess offers a bottle of milk, letting him know there's plenty of food left. Chugging the bottle in one go, the little guy admits he needs to be careful with his appetite. Chewing on another yolk, the foodie feels the thing melt in his mouth. Ready for another round, our hero pulls out his next target. But this time, he comes across a reddish egg that's hard as a rock. Putting the rock, hard egg aside, the little chonk decides to save that one for later. Stuffed from eating so much, the kid falls on his back, looking like a ball. Laughing at the situation, his babysitter rubs his belly and tells him she's going to get more supplies. Slipping out, the goddess asks the little baby to take a nap while she's gone. Down the hall, the blonde woman's footsteps fade, leaving the mascot all alone. Fighting off sleep, the little glutton lets out a heavy yawn, admitting he overdid it. Defeated by the post-feast sleepiness, our MC's eyes get heavy for good. Curled up on a cushion, the little chonk completely passes out in the middle of the hall. Suddenly, his fuzzy ear twitches, signaling that his rest is over. Blinking slowly, the little creature wakes up a bit disoriented. Stretching his paws, our hero gets up from his makeshift bed. Scratching his head, the kid realizes he conked out hard after lunch. Looking around, he notices his guardian still hasn't returned to the room. However, a basket full of fresh delicacies immediately catches his eye. With his food all digested, the little foodie decides he can handle another plate. Flapping his short wings, our little MC launches his culinary assault. Trying to justify his gluttony, the boy swears to himself he just wants to absorb the food's magic. Sinking his teeth into the red shell, the attack fails miserably. Surprised by the insane resistance, the kid backs off immediately. Right away, he recognizes it's the same hard egg from before. Determined to solve the problem by force, our MC summons his dark energy. Purple lightning covers his little body, showing that playtime is over. In a devastating blow, his energized claw strikes the target head-on. The impact sends a shockwave of energy flying everywhere. But to the creature's total outrage, the shell just glows without a single scratch on it. Thrown back by the rebound, the boy's jaw drops at the impenetrable defense. Sticking the landing, he prepares for round 2. Huffing with rage, our little MC warns that now he's getting serious. Gathering all the mana in his body, the power begins to swirl dangerously in his paws. Planted firmly on the ground, the little chonk aims his ultimate technique right at the obstacle. Unleashing an absurd fury, the magic beam cuts through the air with maximum force. Backed by the spirit of the Black Dragon, the explosion of power engulfs the entire screen. A colossal pillar of light pierces the palace ceiling, illuminating everything. Landing exhausted on the floor, the kid pants, wanting to know if the shield finally broke. Seeing the smoke clear, he celebrates his own strength, thinking he's unbeatable. Drooling with anticipation, the foodie moves in, ready for dinner. However, a weird noise from within the dust makes the little chonk freeze. From inside the remains, a completely unexpected little white body emerges. Eyes wide, our MC can't make any sense of the situation. Instead of a cooked yolk, a tiny, fluffy little bird hatches from the shells. In complete shock, the boy processes that he accidentally hatched his dinner. Shaking its feathers, the newborn lets out a cheerful little chirp. Remembering the story about the cooked food, our little MC wonders how in the heck it survived. Right after, his sharp eyes notice a familiar aura flowing from the creature. Glowing brightly, the creature radiates pure fire magic mixed with our hero's dark power. In that instant, it clicks, his devastating attack was sucked up by the little bird. Livid, the kid realizes that the fruit of his hard training has all gone down the drain. Totally innocent, the little ball of feathers pecks at the ground, oblivious to the rage next to it. Staring down the little thief, our boy complains about all the effort he wasted gathering that energy. With no sense of danger, the little bird walks up and starts rubbing against his snout. Defeated by so much cuteness, the MC wonders if all phoenixes are this clingy. In the middle of the cuddle, a light bulb goes off in the little chonk's brain. Meanwhile, the mortal creature keeps chirping, asking for more attention. Remembering the customs of divine beasts, the boy decides to confirm a dangerous theory. Turning his back on the problem, our hero starts running across the hall. As expected, the little thief follows his every step like a magnet. Using evasive maneuvers, the kid tries to shake him, but the little bird stays glued to his tail without fail. Out of breath and exhausted, the little chonk confirms that the bird has imprinted on him, and now thinks he's its mother. With no strength left to fight, our little MC decides to fly up somewhere high to get a minute of peace. Down on the floor, the little white pest starts crying desperately, flapping its tiny wings. Lying down, satisfied with his escape, our boy closes his eyes, thinking the problem is solved, but the annoying chirp still echoes nearby. Tired of screaming, the little white fluffball slowly loses its voice. Shaking with sleepiness, the little bird struggles to keep its eyes open. Defeated by exhaustion, the little bird cries softly, begging for attention. Hiding in the shadows, the kid feels like a monster for making the newborn suffer so much. Just then, the door flies open and his babysitter runs in, worried about how long it's been. Carrying a bowl full of boiled eggs, Christina reveals she brought extra food in case the baby woke up hungry. With a gentle smile, she calls for her little mascot, looking for him around the room. As she steps on the broken shells, The goddess assumes the little foodie ate everything and went back to sleep. When her gaze lands on the bed, she's completely taken aback by the situation. Her eyes widening, the blonde woman doesn't understand where a white tuft of feathers came from in the middle of her sheets. Snuggled up next to the little bird, our chunk is sound asleep while the bird rests on top of him. Confused, the guardian remembers the egg and wonders if that could be a real phoenix. Sensing the blonde woman's presence, the little white ball opens one suspicious eye. In a startled leap, the bird lets out a warning chirp, waking everyone up. Utterly perplexed, Christina analyzes the creature and confirms the absurd energy radiating from it. Glowing with pure flames and dark magic, the little bird displays a terrifying amount of power for a chick. Feeling the mixed power, the goddess recognizes that the little bird already has the durability of a dragon. Admiring the sacred bird, the babysitter knows it has the gift of traveling between the world of the gods. Faced with this cosmic scene, the blonde woman feels that fate brought these two together for a greater reason. Trying to pet it, the goddess pulls back, afraid of forcing contact and scaring the mystical creature. Ruffling its feathers, the little bird goes into full defense mode, ready to attack. Quickly, the little chunk wakes up and gives the freeloader a tug, telling it to respect its benefactor. Absolutely melting, Christina asks if he likes his new little friend. Thoughtfully, the blonde woman remembers that only one phoenix is born per generation. Holding her breath, she concludes that this little baby is the new immortal bird of this era. Flapping his little wings, the kid finds this theory weird because his generation's phoenix is still alive. Worried about the world's balance, the goddess suspects something is very wrong. Summoning the glowing spy, the babysitter decides she can't just let this go. Calling the spirit Rai, the guardian says she needs to speak urgently with Pasius, the elder of the red dragons. Getting the message, the little fairy flies off, leaving the blonde woman a bit more relieved. Waving goodbye, Christina trusts that the baby will behave on his own. As soon as the door closes, the MC celebrates finally having free time to train. Despite her initial concern, the goddess trusts that the boy is mature enough to handle things. Memories show that the kid has a bizarre level of intelligence for his age. Unlike other cubs who use magic haphazardly, the little chunk has absolute control. Focused on the mystery, the blonde woman knows the boy is a genius, way ahead of the curve. Recalling the past, Christina wonders if the former master did something to the baby's body. Walking through the corridors, the goddess puts her suspicions aside. Accepting fate, the guardian swears to protect the boy regardless of his origins. With a confident smile, she promises to come back soon to take care of her little monster. Before leaving, the blonde woman says she's going to find him a training partner. Talking about the elder's son, the babysitter reveals that the kid is also a magical prodigy. Hinting at it, Christina bets that being together will help them both evolve. Smiling to herself, she hopes the two become great friends as the screen shows a red-haired boy reading a book by a window. Before leaving, the blonde tells the guide fairy she trusts it to report any problems. Looking the mascot right in the eye, she asks him to stick close to the glowing spy. Looking bored, the kid doesn't understand why she hasn't left yet. Squeezing his cheeks, the goddess can't resist giving him one last cuddle. Rubbing her face against the baby, she dotes on the chubby little guy, who just wants her to leave already. Complaining mentally, the protagonist can't stand being treated like a stuffed animal anymore. Finally, the door closes and silence reigns in the luxurious hall. Showing off the grandeur of the place, the room exudes wealth and magic. Smiling from ear to ear, our hero celebrates the chance to make a move. Raising his little paws in the air, he cheers for his long-awaited freedom. Looking at his own bed, he dismisses the idea of hibernating like a normal newborn. Because of the guardian doting on him so much, he hasn't been able to train properly lately. Determined to explore, he starts walking, and the glowing spy follows him without question. Christening the new bird, the chubby little guy names the birdie Gabi as he walks. Happily repeating the name, the white creature hops beside him while the kid judges its stupidity. With a quick leap, our protagonist puts the little bird on his back so he doesn't have to keep waiting for it. Ignoring the snitch's complaints, the kid hurries forward. In his own mind, he'd rather carry the extra weight than let the creature keep squawking. With determined steps, the unlikely duo explores the gigantic hallway. Spotting a shiny doorknob, the boy calculates the perfect jump to reach it. Preparing to pounce, he focuses and gathers momentum in his hind paws. With the energy of an athlete, the little creature flies toward the target. Digging his claws into the metal, he pulls the latch down hard. But since he has rotten luck, the metallic clack lets him know it's locked. Noticing how calm the spy is, the kid concludes the watcher already knew the escape attempt would fail. Underestimating the chubby little guy's abilities, Everyone thinks he's just a normal baby. Commanding his dark mana, the hero melts the lock's bolt in an instant. With a push, the majestic door slowly opens, revealing the outside world. Watching the light fairy's reaction, the protagonist wonders if the alarm is going to go off. Blinking in shock, the watcher isn't sure if it should snitch on the mascot's mischief. To the chubby guy's surprise, the spirit decides to mind its own business, giving him a veiled permission. With a mischievous smile, he wonders why the snitch is suddenly being so nice. Accepting the easy win, our boy passes through the door without looking back. Slipping past the doorframe, he leaves the comfort of the room behind. Amazed by the size of the palace, his eyes shine with excitement. The hallways alone are much bigger than he imagined. Understanding the logic, the protagonist realizes they didn't install bars because the distances are absurd. Even if a baby tried to escape on foot, they wouldn't get very far in this maze. With his short little legs, the hero walks, feeling the burden of his slow pace. But with a sinister smile, he admits he was prepared for this setback. Casting spatial magic, the chubby little guy gets ready to break the system, memorizing the mana flow from when the goddess used to teleport him. Focused, the little creature makes the ambient energy resonate with his own body. Reading the structure of the lair, he considers himself ready to test out teleportation. Seeing the glowing spy getting ready to alert Christina, the kid speeds up the process. Laughing at the watcher's sluggishness, the protagonist tells it that it's already too late. Activating the magic circle at max power, the duo vanishes in a flash of blue light. Appearing mid-air, the kid and the little bird go into a freefall. Dazzled by the vast green expanse below, the boy is left speechless. Unlike his old world, which was dead, this one is pure and full of life. Remembering one crucial detail, the hero suddenly realizes he is plummeting, with the ground approaching dangerously fast. The little birdie pulls the chubby guy by the hair on his head. The impact shatters the ground, tossing both of them and the glowing watcher into the dirt. Groaning in pain, the kid blames the thin air for not being able to open his wings in time. Looking at the fairy, who is shaking like a leaf, the protagonist finds its panic odd. Thinking about how the goddess made teleportation look so easy. Putting the pieces together, the boy realizes that this skill isn't for just anyone. He deduces that Christina would have left a heavy escort if she knew he could use high-level magic. Now that the blunder is made, the hero wonders how the hell he's going to fix this massive problem.